Oh God, no. 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 God. Okay. I woke up in the middle of the night, as I do, because there's been a lot going on. And I just take this as a beautiful opportunity to do more of my healing work. And a part of that right now, I guess, is being really, really silly. I was feeling a little bit depressed about myself and my life and, some choices that were made and that were ultimately incongruent with who I want to be. It's just breaking the cycle of addiction, that these selves can keep us in to not keep us from growing, we have to understand that when we take a step up in consciousness and towards growth and expansion, there will be backlash. Best believe it, baby. There will be backlash. And so just remember that, I've been sitting with a decision for a really long time, going back and forth with that decision, and just ultimately just came to the conclusion of why I was moving forward with the decision is just because I had had enough of the experience of what I was still living and getting from the experience by staying in the situation that I was in. And ultimately, it just didn't align with who I wanted to be and what I wanted life to be. And I just had enough of the inner tension and feeling like I wanted to, just not feeling like I could be myself, and it's the difference between, perceiving that you can't be yourself and actually realizing that your consciousness is being taken over. And I just don't want to have my energy siphoned. And I'm being a little bit indirect here, but it's just in regard to that relationship that I've been talking about, and I realize how much I've given so much power away to men that I've been with, and not all of them. This is not like let's read between the lines here. It's more of an archetypal experience of what these selves in me have created based off of perceived reality and trauma, and to cope with the pain. And so I am just looking at myself and looking at how I try to live up to some standard by the fallen consciousness, the fallen beings, and try to keep myself hooked in, or have this separate self stay hooked in by not being perfect and not responding in a perfect way without any reactivity, and having just my side of the street be super clean. That's what's kind of kept me, one of the things that have kept me in the cycle of the trauma bond and in the relationship. And just trying to appease the situation or appease that person's standards, when it's that's not my standards, first of all. And whether it's that person's standards or a standard imposed by the fallen consciousness. It's just like, I'm here to be right with God and be right with myself, and trying to live by the standard set by another person is like willingly putting myself in this like slave position to just serve that standard or that entity or that dynamic. And I just realized there was like so much power imbalance, and there was no such thing as actually a peaceful, amicable, flowing dynamic between me and this person, at least not for long, at all. And so I just got tired of the instability, and just realizing like I just want to focus on myself and go through the pain of withdrawal from this, and go through the pain of letting these selves be starved out, and see who I really am beyond those narratives, like be able to see the narratives. Because what I realized is that I was prolonging this process, by staying in the dynamic and being food, being, food to this dynamic, and the beast that him and I had shared, and we're feeding together. By me staying, I'm just like prolonging, and choosing death, prolonging the suffering and choosing death. And I just don't want to choose death anymore. I don't want to choose, I want to choose myself and my life, and a part of, which is funny because like by me choosing life and myself, I do and am and have and will experience like I'm dying. But it's not actually me that's dying. It's something else. It's something else that's been fed, fed by the dysfunction, fed by the inner tension, fed by the stress, fed by the anger, fed by the just constant, non-stop, but with breaks and reprieve, because that's what trauma bonds do. It's just like super intense and awesome, and then super bad, it's just like back and forth. And I just realized I just don't want to live with this kind of tension. So I get to use my free will and choose to just like, if there's going to be any tension, it's going to be solely coming from me. And it's not going to be induced by this enduring suffering where it's just like nothing's changing. And trust me, I stayed around long enough to experience, the cycle a bazillion times to realize like, oh, this is what I'm gonna get, and this is not changing. Okay, so I'm just gonna change, and I'm just going to put the energy into myself, and then be with me and learn the lessons and go from there. And it's not easy because there's forces inside my brain that want me to think that I need this person, and I'm gonna, die without this person, and it's bullshit. And second guess, and so hi, I'm definitely going through a process over here, and I'm just a human being that has made choices in her life based off of experiences that I've had, and I have a new frame of reference on how life could be, how I could choose differently for myself based off of a new frame of reference, and I'm doing that, and it's not comfortable, because everything inside of me and all the reinforced selves and patterns from this dynamic just want to live out their agendas. They want to, these parts just want to be the driver's seat. And I'm just kind of had enough having my trauma and my separate selves and like these young undeveloped parts or very old parts, depending on how you look at it. If you look at things through the lens of reincarnation, I don't know how many fucking lifetimes I've accrued these selves, but if you're just looking at this one particular life, baby, my experiences have been rich, and I don't even, there's so much there that plays into my current psychology, and things that I'm letting go of. But yes, so these things have been running the show, and I'm just tired of letting these parts run the show. I'm tired of fear running the show. I'm tired of thinking that I need someone else to give me purpose and place in my life. That I'm tired of the narrative that I need someone to provide for me in that way, or to give me what I think that I need. Like, I'd rather just like fall flat on my face, hit rock bottom, and see what the fuck I'm made of, because the other option of staying was just killing me, literally. Not my separate selves, it was killing me, and I just, because of the inner tension, just like, okay, this isn't changing. I still can't trust this person. I don't think I'm ever going to trust this person. Like, really, because I don't think that my sense of safety can come from another being, and so I'm just going to trust myself and not make it a war, not make it a drama. But it's just like an incompatibility issue, really. Just like, I just don't want to be in a world where I'm constantly having to give energy to sustain someone else in that way. And it's just like showing me, like, hopefully I'm making sense. It's the middle of the night, but I'm just like, take responsibility that I just don't want that reflection anymore. And so I'm just gonna do the work to clear up my own reflection, and not do it in a relational container like that, because I've just had enough of the same kind of relationship, like coming from daddy, coming from best friend in childhood, coming from, cousin that molested me as a child, coming from abusive first boyfriend that, I lost my virginity to. It's just like the same fucking like kaleidoscope of the same abusive dynamic that I'm tired of. I've just had enough. I've just suffered enough. School of Hard Knocks. I'm just like, surrender. Let me feel the pain of these selves dying. I don't give a shit. Starve me out. Starve out the demon. Starve out the entity that I have put inside of me by way of these experiences, and to try to cope with the pain of the trauma of the soul fragmentation. Like, stir it out. Let's do this. I'm fine. I am a glorious aspect of the divine, and I am going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm not only going to be okay, but I have a lot to give. I have a lot to offer, from a place of overflowing, because I've given it to myself, not because I'm too afraid to hold my own energy and I just want to immediately give it away. I'm not doing that anymore, because just like I've said before, my being has just been so accustomed to being food and to like making myself a sacrifice, basically, then I'm just like, oh, we've got to change some neurological patterns, some hormonal patterns, some, stress patterns, because stress fucks up all of that. And so I don't even know how long I've been talking. I have a red filter on my phone, so I say that because, like, when you record on your iPhone, it's a red, box with white letters that tell you the time, and I can't see because it's a red filter on my phone, so everything's red. I do that so that, I don't mess with my melatonin. So it's like kind of like a biohack, if you have a phone addiction, or you just need to use your phone, you can do so without fucking up your hormones by putting a red filter on your phone. And that's what I do. So the red light doesn't mess with my eyeballs the ways that the blue light will. And yeah, so I just wanted to say that I'm trying to get my energy from myself, and I do that by creating and expressing. And now that my energy is not being taken up by this relationship and this person in the ways that it was, I am just trying to redirect and create new patterns. And thanks for witnessing me in that process, because this is not easy. Trauma bonds are the most highly addictive substances on the earth. And I'm gonna be fine. You know why? Because I got tools. I got tools that I did not have at one point, or I didn't have the consciousness that I have now to utilize the tools to really kick my ass in gear. And I'm just going to keep creating, because that's the only way I'm going to get through this. Keep creating, keep loving myself, and keep doing the work, and trying to stay regulated. That's all I gotta say. That's all. That's all. That's all, folks. That's all. And take care of yourself. Go easy on yourself. And thanks for being with me on this wild ride of embodiment and resolving psychology, so that we can be free of the bullshit and get off the drama triangle and have some actual peace. I just want peace, like truly, not like saying peace, like, but actually being peace. Doing my best. It's a journey and a process. All right, good night.